This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 8th day of November in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Guyana's suicide rate remains high, and the country is currently ranked at number 2 in the world when it comes to the global suicide rate. The issue came under sharp focus this morning at the launching of the Guyana Mental Health and Wellbeing Conference. During the opening, the director of the Global Psychiatric Epidemiology Group and Columbia University professor Dr. Christina Hoven said there is an urgent need for solutions to be found to Guyana's mental health situation. Dr. Hoven is part of a team conducting a study in Guyana on suicide with the hope of coming up with solutions that could aid in stemming the high rate of cases. According to Dr. Hoven, while efforts have been made to address Guyana's suicide problem, progress has not been good.
It doesn't matter how you look at it. Guyana doesn't look good when it comes to suicide or activities related to suicide.
The professor called for more understanding of the issues surrounding suicide if there could be true change.
So when we talk about what can we do a lot of things. And we can do it from a multifaceted perspective because suicide is multifaceted. Everyone that kills themselves is different, and they have a range of activities and a range of attitudes and beliefs that bring them to that point. We can intersect with those attitudes and beliefs if we think about it and try.
On the issue of understanding why people take their own lives, Dr. Hoven said there is first a need to understand the various aspects of life, including religious beliefs and standards of living. She noted that there are many issues that could trigger feelings that could possibly lead to suicide.
We can do all the wonderful little studies we want, big studies, but if they're not thought out and they don't capture what needs to be captured, they're for naught. You're wasting your time. We know all about the risk factors. I just showed you the risk factors. That's not going to help us solve the problem. We have to figure out the big picture and how these things go together to create suicidal behavior. That's the challenge.
It was explained that almost 700,000 persons lose their lives to suicide across the world every year, making suicide the 18th leading cause of death globally. Guyana is ranked at number 2 in the world when it comes to having the most suicide deaths annually per 100,000 people. That figure means that Guyana tops the Caribbean community when it comes to cases of suicide. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said, over the years, despite additional research being done, there has been little improvement in addressing the issue.
But after about, I think, 3 5-year plans that we have had in suicide prevention, as you can see, the numbers are still climbing. And we really need to think about other ways of how we are going to affect those numbers. Certainly, whatever we are trying, while they might be helping in some ways and in some regions, it is not helping us to bring down those numbers as quickly as we would like them to. And that is something that I guess we'll have to keep working on, because nobody wants to see so many persons ending their lives in Guyana.
The health minister said a new plan, which will be derived from the study, along with a new bill that will decriminalize attempted suicide, will seek to bridge the gap and hopefully lead to better results. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
The light on your face, no mask will hide.
Feel the joy burn deep inside.
Let's have a great Christmas this year.
You, me, and Republic Bank, my dear.
Whatever you need, light up your Christmas with Republic Bank and get a chance to win $825,000 in cash prizes. Plus, get a chance to give a family a Christmas hamper in your name. Log on to republicguyana.com for more details. Let's light up Christmas.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Jungle Jam!
Jungle Jam,
Jungle Jam!
find as many as you can. Jungle Jam,
Jungle Jam!
the animal with love and passion by our dedicated team of fine bakers, we give you Dembake. With the same great quality you're used to, we now have a slightly new look. Here in Land of Canaan, we are ready to give you even more. Don't wait until you're hungry. Reach for a slice of Dembake. Dembake, healthy, wholesome living.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
Alana! Oh my gosh, it's so great to see you.
You must have heard. That's why you're here at GPL. The great news, GPL's 22 for 22.
I absolutely did hear. They're giving away supermarket vouchers worth $25,000 to 22 customers.
Isn't it just awesome how GPL is giving back to the community, though?
For sure. But you know what you need to do? You need to ensure your account is completely settled, while prepaid customers need to purchase credit during the promo period, and make sure that you ask for that coupon. Nobody's left out.
GPL's 22 for 22. Promotions run October 1 through October 15th.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Let GBTI make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Over 600 new cases of coronavirus have been recorded in the country in the past week, according to figures released by the Ministry of Health. The country has also recorded 19 COVID-19 related deaths since the start of this month of November. This past weekend alone saw 12 deaths being recorded. While the number of deaths and new cases remain high, the Ministry of Health has reported that the country is actually seeing a decline in cases and hospitalizations when compared to previous months. The ministry is currently studying that downward trend, which it believes is as a result of more persons becoming fully vaccinated. Health officials continue to encourage persons who have received the first dose of one of the COVID-19 vaccines to return for their second dose shot. There are second doses available for all of the vaccines that have been administered in the country. Additionally, the Pfizer vaccine and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine are also available to everyone. The prime suspect in the murder of physician Dr. Colin Roach and his alleged accomplice remain in police custody as the investigators await advice from the police force's legal advisor on the charges that should be filed in the matter. The 19-year-old prime suspect Hilton Franklin and his suspected accomplice, 18-year-old Lenrick Bias, are the only two persons still in custody in relation to the murder. Two of the doctor's employees who were originally taken into custody and questioned have since been released, since there appears to be no evidence linking any of them to the murder or any attempt to cover it up. Police investigators have recovered gold rings, a sum of cash, and a cell phone that belonged to Dr. Roach and were stolen from him on the night of the murder. Those items were found in the possession of the prime suspect and the suspected accomplice. The suspected accomplice has reportedly told investigators that he was not at the doctor's office when the man was murdered, since he had stepped out to buy drinks. He reportedly explained that when he returned, he saw the doctor's lifeless body, with his friend, the prime suspect, standing close to the body. It is alleged that he explained to the investigators that he and the suspect left the doctor's office together in the doctor's car and headed to West Demerara. The doctor's Audi SUV was discovered abandoned at Schoonard on the west bank of Demerara. The prime suspect was arrested while attempting to make an early morning crossing over to neighboring Suriname via the backtrack route in quarantine. He was allegedly nabbed with a number of items that belonged to the doctor. The prime suspect, Hilton Franklin, and Dr. Colin Roach were friends. At the doctor's birthday celebration back in September, Franklin worked as his bartender. A post-mortem examination on Dr. Roach's body revealed that he died from multiple blunt trauma to the head. The well-known doctor was 49 years old. Let's tell you now that the former head of the Special Organized Crime Unit of the Guyana Police Force turned himself over to the police today for questioning after a wanted bulletin was issued for his arrest last week. The former SOCO head, Sidney James, was questioned and granted station bail in the sum of $300,000. He's expected to return to SOCO for further questioning. James was questioned in relation to allegations of fraud allegedly committed at SOCO while he headed the agency. There have been reports that a large sum of money that was with the unit for payment to informants could not properly be accounted for. James, who was a lieutenant colonel in the Guyana Defense Force, was appointed an assistant police commissioner in 2014 under the PP Civic government and transferred to head the new Special Organized Crime Unit. He remained as head of the unit up until 2019, when his contract was not renewed under the APNU AFC administration. Just before the decision was made to not renew his contract, he was sent on administrative leave after a special audit unearthed a number of instances of mismanagement of funds and falsification of documents at the Special Organized Crime Unit. The U.S. Embassy here in Georgetown was forced to scale down many of its visa services when the COVID-19 pandemic hit Guyana back in March last year. While the embassy never closed its doors or operations, it started to limit appointments for both immigrant and non-immigrant visas. In the past few months, however, the embassy has slowly been increasing the number of appointments. And according to the consular chief, Benjamin Hesbridge, the embassy continues to look at ways to safely offer more visa appointments.
Well, the embassy never closed, and consular operations have been going robustly for quite some time now. So we are seeing non-immigrant visa applicants, immigrant visa applicants, in addition to our American Citizen Services customers. We are constantly looking at ways that we can safely offer more appointments and more opportunities. We know that, especially to the people of Guyana who have not seen family in quite some time, these are important trips. And we are constantly looking at how we can do that safely.
The chief consular officer explained that there is no vaccination requirement to visit the embassy, but appointments have to be made and other COVID guidelines will have to be followed. Meanwhile, the new regulations for international travel to the U.S. took effect from this morning. Under the new regulations, only persons who are fully vaccinated with vaccines approved by the World Health Organization or the U.S. Food and Drug Administration will be able to board a flight to the United States. Persons who are vaccinated with approved vaccines must also provide a negative PCR or antigen COVID-19 test results. The chief consular officer explained to news sources that there are extremely limited exemptions for international travelers who are not vaccinated. The new rule does not apply to children below the age of 18. Children below the age of 18 who are traveling with their parents do not need to be fully vaccinated, but would still require a negative PCR or antigen test. If the child is traveling alone or with another adult, then the test must be taken within a day. U.S. citizens or U.S. permanent residents heading back to the U.S. are also not required to be fully vaccinated, but must provide a negative COVID-19 test result, the official said. The recently formed civil society group Article 13 has taken the government to task over what it sees as the government's failure to constitute a long list of constitutional and statutory offices for the smooth functioning of the country. A release signed by three of the group's members, Yog Mahathir, Jonathan Yearwood, and Raymond Gaskin, expressed particular concern that President Irfan Ali has failed to establish the Public Procurement Commission and the Public Procurement Commission Tribunal, even as the government is expending billions of taxpayers' dollars, coupled with the recent announcement of several multi-million US dollar projects. The Article 13 group said the practice by the government can no longer be tolerated. The group reminded that the Constitution provides for the establishment of a 5-person public procurement commission, which is set out in the Procurement Act and includes a number of responsibilities, including the regulation of procurement of goods and services and to promote fairness and transparency in the procurement process. The group has also expressed worry over the failure by the government to appoint the 3 persons who will constitute the Public Procurement Tribunal to hear appeals from persons who believe they were unfairly treated with their bids for procurement contracts. The group has also said the glaring constitutional and statutory breaches by the government indicate a reckless disregard for the Constitution and the laws of the country, and the group has made it clear that it will hold the President, his government, the opposition, and the Speaker, as well as the National Assembly, responsible for the situation. Last week during a press conference, opposition leader Joe Harmon also raised similar concerns. At the time, Mr. Harmon accused the government of handing out state contracts only to a select group of persons since the government controls the process. He accused the Vice President Bharat Jagdeo of overseeing the process and awarding contracts as he sees fit. The Vice President has not responded to those claims. Filling the void left by Liat Airlines, which stopped flying the Guyana route more than a year ago, the Turks and Caicos-based Inter-Caribbean Airways will begin its service between Guyana and Barbados in December. The airline, which already flies to 26 other Caribbean destinations, has a fleet of 14 aircraft and intends to play a major role in regional travel to Guyana moving forward. Chairman of the airline, Lyndon Gardner, said he's pleased that Guyana is open for business and open to the new airlines serving the route. The government granted approval for the airline to begin its Guyana service back in May. Minister of Public Works Juan Edghill welcomed the airline to the Guyana market at a ceremony hosted at Duke Lodge last Friday. Minister Edghill said there is insufficient connectivity between Guyana and the rest of the Caribbean, and the Guyana government is therefore pleased with the additional airline joining its friendly skies. Inter-Caribbean Airways will operate 6 weekly flights between Georgetown and Barbados from December. The airline began its operations back in 1990 and has been expanding its service ever since then. With its flights between Georgetown and Bridgetown, additional connections will also be offered to other destinations.
Farfan & Mendes is committed to promoting development through quality, service, and integrity. Customers are guaranteed genuine products, reliability, and excellence in service. Their corporate head office at Providence affords you the added convenience of a spacious showroom with secured parking. Farfan & Mendes continues to offer their valued customers a wide range of genuine and affordable German-engineered equipment. They're leading the way in clean, green alternative energy solutions with industry-leading brands of solar equipment. So visit their showroom at Providence and enjoy efficient and courteous service. Farfan & Mendes, offering you solutions you can depend on.
Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, from this week, elderly and immunocompromised people in Trinidad and Tobago who have already been vaccinated against COVID-19 will be able to access an additional dose of the vaccine to further protect them against the virus. The Health Minister in Trinidad, Terence D.L. Singh, made the announcement over the weekend as he noted the World Health Organization guidelines. However, D.L. Singh said this should not be referred to as a booster shot, but rather an additional primary dose. Speaking during the ministry's virtual press conference, D.L. Singh said the additional doses will be available this week to be administered to the eligible persons. Those persons would have already received 2 doses of the Sinopharm, AstraZeneca, or Pfizer vaccines, or 1 dose of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and were deemed to be fully vaccinated. For the Sinopharm vaccine, the minister said elderly persons from age 60, as well as immunocompromised people, will be able to access a 3rd dose. Immunocompromised people consist of those with health ailments, including cancer, HIV/AIDS, transplant recipients, and those who are immunodeficient, and those on immunosuppressive therapy. Let's tell you now that Costa Rica has become the first country in the world to make COVID-19 vaccinations mandatory for children. The jab will join the extensive list of basic childhood vaccinations in Costa Rica, already required by law, health officials there have said. The country signed a deal with the Pfizer company to acquire doses to start vaccinating all under 12s from March 2022. Earlier this week, the U.S. health regulatory body approved the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for children between the ages of 5 to 11. Most children are unlikely to get seriously ill if they catch COVID-19, but may still be infectious even with no symptoms. The vaccine could help stop the spreading of the virus to others. Costa Rica's deal with Pfizer will see it receive 3.5 million doses, of which 1.5 million will be reserved for those in the age group 5 to 11. The others will be for 3rd doses to be given to first responders, the elderly population, and immunosuppressed people. To date, about 55% of the country's population has been fully vaccinated against the virus. And finally tonight, international news. Former US President Barack Obama has called on young people to stay angry in the fight against climate change at the COP26 summit. The former US president urged them to apply political pressure to make a change, but warned that they would need to accept compromises along the way. Mr. Obama said the world is nowhere near to where it needs to be to avoid a future climate catastrophe. He criticized Donald Trump's active hostility toward climate science, but said the U.S. is ready to lead again. Mr. Obama also scolded China and Russia's leaders for not physically attending the meeting. Speaking in Glasgow, Mr. Obama received loud applause when he took to the stage and a standing ovation at the end of his speech, but there was pushback from activists. He called out nations for failing to meet the pledges they made in the 2015 Paris Agreement when he was in the White House. However, activists were quick to point out those broken by his own administration, including the failure of a key promise by developed countries to deliver $100 billion a year in climate finance to poorer nations. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.